Hi everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. There's a notifications bell down in the corner. In the descriptions, there's links on how you can help my mission. Um, so today, actually, something happened, and I've been asked questions about community support, and something just happened tonight that made me really want to discuss it. There, we know in, well, first, Gypsy had come up to like borrow a controller or something. And I was sitting here and I've been really tired. The last 2 days of outreach just had me floored. It's because I'm still recovering from being sick, whatever, it doesn't matter. Um, but that had given me the really inability to get up and prepare something to eat for myself. Nothing was sounding good, just having a moment. And she was up here and I asked her, I said, "Do you got any bread?" And she's like, "Well, and apparently they had all gone to the food bank and she had some food. She's like, "Well, I might have a pastry or something." And next thing I know is her and Derek bringing up fruit for me and muffins and brownies, which I'm not even gonna lie, the brownies I just dug into with a fork. Hi, Lady Lilac. Um, but it really pointed out to me that I remember times in my life that I never would have burdened somebody with the fact that I had food, but nothing I could cook or wanted to eat. And mainly that was because I would always, "Good, CBT, how are you?" It was always because I'd kind of feel like I think one of my favorite terms when I lived in Louisiana was, "I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm fine." Um, and I think when you have true support and true community support, those are the people that you can say, "I'm hungry," and just say it. And those people are the ones that, will share their sandwich or whatever. And that's true community support. And Gypsy and Derek, of course, they lived in our encampment in the jungle. And it's been like that for a while. And I mean, I'm not saying that it was always, our community would yell at each other sometimes and flip out and all these other things. But there's one thing that never changed. And that was when we needed each other, someone was there. And for me, it's been a real growing experience because before that, I had never really, other than Wisconsin, I had never really experienced that kind of personal family support, because that's what it is. It's family. And I've been blessed enough to now have a huge community, and the more I work, the more friends I make and the more amazing people I meet, to build a support and build a community. And I think that's so important. Thank you, Sheila. I love you. Um, so I wanted to, since I was thinking about the subject anyway, I'd been asked some questions and I wanted to address them. And it's actually about community. And it's from he had asked a bunch of questions. And I'm going to address some of them right now. Once leaving homelessness, how do you get straight with the IRS and clean up your credit rating? What about lost identification documents? I imagine all your records are lost. So I'm going to deal with that first. Okay. Number one, when you are unhoused, your last concern is the IRS. I'm just gonna, the only way you're gonna have that concern is like you're homeless and you owe money to them and they're, threatening your liberty. I mean, other than that, there's nothing you can do when you have nothing. There's just nothing you can do. Um, Lost identification documents is, it's a hard one. It is a really, really difficult one. I lost everything, all documents. And towards the end, I even lost my driver's license, and I had had that for a while as identification. And when I was coming out and was getting housed, I was very blessed to have a GoFundMe that had raised money so that I could call and order this place and order a birth certificate, but I had to use, the unhoused mailbox. So I'm waiting for these documents to come in, and then, you know, going to do your social security number, and then you contact the DMV and you're like, "Oh yeah, I sped a few times and I have some unpaid tickets." um, and there's costs associated with that. So the problem with that as well is you need documents to do stuff. You need documents to have a place to live. You need documents to get help. It's important. And one of the things that I was very, very lucky was that I remembered my social security number. And there are a lot of people who do not have the ability, and nor do they know their social security number. And some people are so sick that it just it's not is going through all the steps and all the red tape and all the bureaucracy to get those documents. And so that's why it's really important to have a social worker. Um, Social workers can be that bridge that helps people get across to the side they need to be on to be receiving the help that they need to get up and get healthier. Hi, Bill. Oh, it's okay, CBT. Um, and so, yeah, that is really, really difficult, and it is costly. It To get your documents replaced, it costs money. And if you don't have anything, the last thing you're worried about really is a form of ID. It I mean, now I suppose people are worried about that, and with good reason, but I remember just feeling like, well, one more thing gone. It was a loss of identity anyway. Um, so I'm going to move on to the next questions. Before you were homeless, did you belong to a church? Were you affiliated with a volunteer organization or social organizations? Hi, Kate. I was wondering if you were part of them. Did those associations help you? Okay, before I was homeless, I did not belong to a church. I do not belong to a church now. I will never belong to a church. Um, I I have belonged to a couple when I was young, and I have understood that in my life, faith means walking without worry. I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned with what's next. I'm not concerned with any anything outside of what is happening now, the science of what is happening now, what can I research about right now, where I am right now, today? I'm just not concerned. And I I don't know if people is it because I use the word blessed or faith or terms that maybe would be associated with religion, but no, I am not religious. I believe that everything is interconnected and there's an order to things. And I believe that at this time, that is not what I am trying to understand. I am trying to solve homelessness. That's my thing, and promote human rights and environmental rights. And I believe that we should all just try to save the world right now. Was I affiliated with a volunteer organization? No, I was not. I had tried volunteering a few times, but I lived in a place that was very, very isolating to me. Um, yeah, people do get social security numbers when they file income taxes for the dependents bill, but a lot of people do not file taxes while they are homeless. There's no reason to if you I it's just yeah, they, um, yeah, I know a lot of people who just don't file. And I imagine if they get out of um, being unhoused within a few years, you can back file and say, hey, I had nothing. Um, so, no, I was not affiliated. I was isolated. And I was brain injured. And, well, I would say newly brain injured. So I wasn't necessarily the healthiest, nor was I in the best state of mind to be meeting people or be helping. I tried. um, Social organizations. Nope, I wasn't a part of social organizations except Brain Injury Alliance to try to understand what was happening to me and in that in relation to others and how what that meant for my neurological well-being, my well-being in whole as a whole. Um, educating myself on what was going on. Um, so, did any of these associations help me? No, except for Brain Injury Alliance. I have to say that organization really, really helped and in knowledge and just helping me um, keep going and understand that when I got to Seattle, I needed to seek treatment. So, it seems that a common element to homelessness is that people leave their community and go across the country to an unfamiliar place with no social network. Okay, number one, other than in terms of displacement or natural disaster displacement, most people actually kind of hang around the areas they're from if they're survivable and if they have any kind of social network. When you see people going across country and things like that, there is a degraded social network and a degraded sense of community. And we know that when trauma hits communities, and I found this out actually because I was studying what had happened in Libya where I was a child and the asbestos mines. And I was studying social cohesion after a disaster happens in communities. And it actually tends to unravel, which means that the community becomes weaker and they take care of themselves less. They tend to band together, they find cliques, things like that. So I'm going to address some comments real quick. Housing counselors can and stand on it. Yeah, yes, you can get social security numbers for your dependents. Yes, I'm talking about like for yourself if you have zero documents. It it does it takes some doing. But yes, you can get social security numbers for your dependents. Does that make me an atheist? No, I don't think that. Here's the thing. I believe in science and I believe in the order of things and I believe in the presence of a life force that is surrounds us all. Um, I'm not saying auras or spirit, anything like that. I believe that things happen the way that they will, and we can do our best to be better human beings. But I believe it's none of my business. That's not my place. That's not my path. I don't have to live for the approval of anyone or anything. I know in my heart and in my mind what is right, and I follow that. So I would say if you want to get like if it want to get technical, I guess I would be agnostic, but I believe that I am here for the reason I'm here and trying to even concern myself with something that will happen no matter what. And I'm not going to stop it. Nobody's going to stop it. Everybody dies. I'll deal with it when I deal with it. Like, deal with it as it comes up. like, and I will have to say that one of the things that irritates me, just gets me is when I see religions and church organizations look at people and say, well, at least in the next life. No, whatever. Whatever. That's such a cop out. Such a cop out. So no, I'm not affiliated. So am I part of faith community? I am part of a community of an insanely amazing, diverse group of kind and phenomenal individuals. Their faith, I don't know what most of them believe as far as that. I don't ask, I don't care. Um, what their religion is doesn't affect me. I'm interested in the things that we are able to accomplish as this beautiful, beautiful community. Um, can you please discuss these questions in the future video? Doing it now. Um, so, does anybody else? Let me see here. All those homes. Churches are organized for people to control other people. They have nothing not is spiritual. It's their thing. I mean, I don't. The thing, I don't feel that I need to even concern myself with it. I got stuff to do. Um, HUD will also count time camping homeless towards qualification towards chronic homeless programs. That is right. Individuals just signed they were at a period at a location for a period of time. Yes, that is true. It's just an innocent question. Canine therapy. I'm not interrogating. Oh, I didn't think you were interrogating me, CBT. Not at all. Didn't feel that way. No, I get asked those questions actually quite a bit. And I've had a lot of experience with faith-based outreaches and churches and things in their nonprofit statuses. My take on that is that in my experience, the people who are out acting in a good manner want to do good things. But I will also say that you cannot expect to work in a vulnerable community and whether a person who is religious wants to understand this or not, to come up and have be promoting whatever your religion is, that stop, you're not there for that. You're there to be there for those people. And I will tell you now, it does make people uncomfortable when they think that, whether you mean it or not, because I'm sure a lot of people do not mean it this way at all. And I understand that. I'm just telling you from this side of it. When people are handing out life-saving gear and they're asking, can I pray with you? Let me pray with you. Let me pray over you. Let me, tell you about Jesus, God, whoever. There is a immediate gravitation towards the person will be more favored if they just agree. Maybe you can get more help if you are like, yeah, absolutely. But I have found over and over and over and over again where it doesn't matter really the underlying thing. If it's faith based, that's exactly what they mean. Faith based. Whatever they have faith in, whatever, higher power they have faith in, that is what it's based on. It is not based, you know, in my opinion, you should be humanitarian based. If you are working with human rights, you should be humanitarian based. You know, preparing people for a kingdom to come or whatever while they're living in abject poverty and dying here just seems the height of arrogance to me. So I am just going to, and I know that many people find peace in their faith. And I find peace in my faith that I know what to do. I know what the right thing is, and I'm going to try it. Like, I don't live, learn, be better. And so that's kind of where I'm at with that. And I have some feelings about how any other nonprofit organization that had the absolute amount of cases of child trafficking and sex abuse, we would not allow them within miles of a vulnerable population. And we can say that, whatever. I mean, trying to force a recipient to follow a faith to receive help. See, and that's the thing that most of them don't ever say that they're doing that. And they don't. They don't try to force anybody. But they have so little understanding of what it's like to be in that kind of abject need that you could be convinced of whatever's going to help you out of this. It doesn't mean that that's right. It doesn't mean that that's anything other than, what does it matter what religion the hand is? Why does that even have to enter into it? I can't fathom that. And I've had some really rockin' experiences. Like, there was one where there was a woman who gets out the van and tries to cast the demons out of my dog. And I have been in a situation where I've had the demons cast out of me, I don't know how many times. If we want to understand things, we need to seek knowledge. And we are the culmination of knowledge of thousands upon thousands of years of human history. So we need to use it. It's not that I don't appreciate people praying. I appreciate positive thoughts. I appreciate people being kind and being loving. All I am saying is that we really do have to understand our impulses, the sociological responses. We can have communities and social cohesion without having to promote one religion or another religion. People can just be good. Okay. They should spend a week with the individuals they help for empathy. Well, here's the thing. I know that, I agree, but there's like UGM where they have people that were homeless and addicted going out on their missions too, and they're very strong believers. But if I hand someone a sandwich and I say, "Here, you're hungry, eat," I'm doing it because they're hungry and they need to eat. If I hand someone a sandwich and I say, "This is coming through me from the Almighty," you know, man, that people's gonna, people want more sandwiches. And so whatever you have to believe in to get your sandwiches and be okay, okay. It's the same thing like AA and NA. Whatever you need to feel that. But we have to be very careful when dealing with vulnerable populations, because there's a huge demographic. There is huge cultural diversity in these groups. And the thing is there's so many I think it's sects. It's sects, sects of different religions that who even knows? Like for real. Um, it's almost like a cult following trying to seek the vulnerability of people. I think that it's different reasons. Like I think that there are ones I know that are just freaking phenomenal people. However, with that being said, I don't understand why it has to enter into it. I just don't. I don't understand what it has to do with humanitarian work. Because when you do humanitarian work, you don't take anything into account other than that is a human being who needs help. Triage them. Who's the worst? Help them first. Um, so I think that it can be isolating. God, it could be so isolating to be, for example, be in an area where it's populated, you know, majority of the outreaches are, faith based, say they are Christian organizations and you're Muslim. It must be wholly uncomfortable when your city contracts through Christian organizations and you're not Christian. It must be uncomfortable. I would be uncomfortable. I just think that there's no reason for it. There really isn't. Not in nonprofit work. If you want to do faith-based work, then I guess that's faith in the church. I mean, but when working with humanitarian efforts, I think we need to stick it to not making everybody feel like human rights are a thing. Um, I thought this topic was about homeless, not religion. Normal people are the worst. They're quick to judge until they're homeless again. Um, Here's the thing. All my topics are about everything. My thoughts, my feelings, my experiences. And since I'm talking about community and community support, a lot of times in different cities, towns, whatever, a large part of community support comes from the churches. And there are many, many reasons for that. Usually that those are places where, of course, large portions of the population congregate. Um, they tend to have the thing though is when you have established churches in rural communities and things like that, a lot of times those are they're great sources of support for their members, um, and the members of that church. You have a hard time with people who have no familial support, um, who weren't raised in that and don't feel any ties. Um, Hugs back with Bill. So I would say that all topics are related. Anything to do at this point with social structure has to do with displacement. We are witnessing mass migration across the globe. I think the United States today called it, they are telling people to do managed migration, which it's mass migration. Um, so it's a humanitarian crisis. And I think at some point we have to drop our personal views on what happens after we die and just understand what is good and what is right. And what is good and what is right is first, do no harm. No matter what you do, do no harm. And think about your actions to make sure. You know, we can't perpetuate problems. If we look back, I think it was early 1900s, at some of the charities that started, we can actually start to see how it lent to some of the ongoing cyclical poverty as well. So anyhow, I wanted to bring this topic up because there's a lot of times in my life that I didn't have community support or felt like I didn't have a support system. And in my life now, I am so blessed to have people that I can just say, "Hey, I'm struggling," and it's chill. And they got me and I got them. And I am so lucky, so lucky. And I think that that's what I really want for people. Um, so many in the churches do volunteer efforts, cooking and serving 600,000 meals a year near. Okay, yep. There are many churches that churches are great for volunteers. You're absolutely right. And I have zero problem with anyone belonging to any church and coming and volunteering. Please volunteer. Do what you can. Grab a person, invest in them. do do it. All I'm asking is that you just do it, and you don't have to tell the person you're doing it because of your religion, "Hey, come follow me," or any of those things. Just do it to be good. Just do volunteer because it's a right thing to do, you know? I just and it causes divisions and rifts and distrust between communities when you have such staunch positions. Um, like, I will talk about, like, okay, for example, I lost it on a, religious group that had signs, and me and Austin were going back to camp after spanking. It was cold, it was rainy, I wasn't in the mood, and there are a bunch of women holding signs, standing there saying, "What would your Jesus do?" And I look around and there's literally people sitting on the corner eating out of garbage cans. And I said, "I will tell you what he wouldn't do. He wouldn't be here holding a sign while people are starving." Just gonna throw that out there. And Austin grabbed my arm and was like, "No, nah, nah, nah." I just whatever, whatever. Yeah, but the thing is, if I don't care. I literally do not care what religion you are. If you wanted to go out and do good, do good. But as far as myself, no, I am not affiliated with anybody except the world that I am in. And I want to make it so much better and I want to do better. So that's my view. Let's see. Businesses volunteer also as groups. Yes, they do. And I will say, Bill, that's why I want to hook you up with Resolution to End Homelessness, because I'm telling you, these businesses have come out, they have shown up, they have tried, they are being active, and it's really, really beautiful. I'm lucky to know you too, Bill. I appreciate that. Um, oh, I like sunflowers, Tatiana. CBT, and you were right in saying that to that person. Well, I hi Tatum. I am known for sometimes letting my mouth open before my mind fully grasps what I need to be not saying sometimes, but it was hard too because when you're unhoused and you're dealing with, like, now I definitely wouldn't do that, maybe. Um But when you're, unhoused, your meds aren't working the greatest, so you're not as stable, you're not as healthy, and you're honestly, my temper was pretty much on trigger. Um, it was easy to go back to camp and look and try to see the beauty and relax and notice the green and the flowers and everything else. But when surrounded with people who are really disgusted by your very existence, and then to see people holding that kind of sign, it's difficult. I've seen, I don't know who they are, but they're really hot here in Seattle, and they have these really thick, gorgeous brochures. I talking about have you, something God, and they hand them out, and literally in front of them was a man with a baby, homeless, asking for food. Again, another guy digging through the trash can. I'm spanging over here. And I just looked, and I looked at the lady, and I said, "Can you imagine the money that you just spent on those brochures if it would have just been invested into people? Like, invest in the world you're in now. Change the world you're in now. Make today better. Make tomorrow better." You know, that's what I have to say about that. And so again, very blessed for the community support and for having met this beautiful, amazing throughout my life. I have just been blessed with some really phenomenal people, and I'm thankful for that. Um, Sheila, I'm talking about you too. She knows it though. Um, Tatum, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just wanted to talk about community support because it's really, really important. I kind of got sidetracked by the religion thing, but there's so much to talk about with community support and social cohesion and how we can repair communities without making people feel excluded. So it's going, it's going. And want to again thank you all so very much, and just wanted to share that with you. It's like the saying, Amanda, walk in my shoes, and then you'll know what I'm going through in life. Yeah, um, absolutely. And I think that, yeah, we all perceive our world very differently, even through what we sense, and so we really never know what one person is perceiving in their environment. And I try to remember that my vision of my world is very different than anyone else's because everybody perceives the world differently. And that helps a little bit sometimes. Hi, always smile. Nice to see you. So, are there any questions? Anything like that? Anybody wants cleared up? Ask me a question about being unhoused, what I feel about something, whatever. I'll wait. I'll wait for a few seconds to see if anybody types in. Nope. Okay. Well, you guys have a beautiful night. Like I said, I just wanted to share, you know, um, I just wanted to share how beautiful it can be to have a support system. So, CBT, I do cherish your lives. Thank you, CBT. I appreciate that. I really appreciate your guys' positive feedback. I appreciate the questions. Again, as long as it's respectful, because my block game is strong. Boundaries. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful for I'm thankful that the world believed in me enough to invest in me and allow me to do more to make the world a better place. And I just wanted to talk about it. So you all have a great evening. Appreciate you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.